And me as a salesperson, I want to know that my buyer is not crazy. Better to have them talking about themselves, because people love to talk about themselves. What's up, guys? Today we cover the practice for the Web3 discovery. We're gonna cover questions, how to ask them, what is the right order to ask them, how to qualify prospects, everything. This is the second video on Web3 discovery that I'm publishing this week. You should watch the first one. The first one was like killer. It was a bomb. Like when it just dropped, everybody just sent a ton of good feedback. So I'm gonna link it down below. You can check it out. This is the theory block. Right now is a practice, and I highly recommend you to watch the first one. Okay, I'm gonna teach you how to put prospects in a line to buy, because these questions and this sequence, they are designed in a way to qualify the prospect, to make them want to work with you, to make sure that you are not chasing them. Because if they feel that you want them more than you need, then they're gonna understand that they can play you. You want to be resilient. You want to show them that you are the boss here, that you are deciding here who you work with, and this is the best part. This is the best part. This is the topic that I love. So let's dive into it. Well, the first thing, discovery call. This is the slide from the previous presentation. Very quickly, 30 minutes on average. Introduction 1-2 minutes, bridge 2-3 minutes, Q&A 20 minutes, next steps 5 minutes. Very clear. Q&A also sometimes goes together with pitch, so your discovery call can be a little bit different. Like for example, mine, I need to pitch. I have a presentation that I'm showing, but I'm putting this into Q&A stage, so I'm going to explain everything how it goes. But this is the timings for it. Let's dive into it. What do you say in introduction? In introduction, you just have a casual chat about everything you want to have in the world. Don't talk about the weather. Better ask where they're based, and these basic questions. So this is what I love to ask, like where they're based. You share where you are, and then you just chit chat about some general stuff about your location, about their location, and that's it. This should be short, brief, where the part where you're building the rapport, and it's just really there, like a small talk. You need to have the small talk, because some cultures they require to have a small talk, but this is not the main reason. In order to have a big talk, you need to have a small talk. This is the main part. There is not a lot of people that can immediately gain trust from you or that can trust you. At first they need to confirm that you are a good guy, that you are not crazy. Okay, this is why we have a small talk, to understand that our other party is not crazy. And me as a salesperson, I want to know that my buyer is not crazy. Maybe they are crazy, and I need to end the call right now. Then I just win 30 minutes of my time back. So this is a good thing. Okay. Next thing is bridge. Bridge is between the introduction from a complete stranger or not a complete stranger to actually a part where you need to ask them questions. This is the main part that you're doing the discovery, like Q&A questions. And in order to get permission to do the Q&A, you need to have this bridge. So what is the bridge? Like, you need to establish the ground by asking the question. And I like to do it like this way. So John, before we get started, can you tell me what you were hoping to accomplish or take away by the end of this call? And this sets the agenda from their end. You need to understand what they want, and it's gonna be controversial, guys. Like, maybe this is the wisdom, but if you ask them what they want and then you deliver them what they want in the presentation, they probably gonna be happy, okay? And they probably want to move forward with you. So setting the clear expectation and agenda is the most important part in the beginning of the call. You ask them what they want, they tell you what they want, and then you say, cool, and from my end, and blah, blah, blah. So you're showing them that it's not all about them. You are the same part of the sales process, okay? You are the counterparty with them. You are equal with them, if not higher, okay? So you need to understand. So you say, okay, John, and from my end is blah, 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 blah. And you say, is to understand your business or this or that. You can think of anything that you want to see. Typically, you can say, what are you hoping to accomplish? And you can say, I'm looking forward to see if you're a good prospect, or you're a good company to work with, or to understand your business, or something like this. Like, just say something that feels true to you, or I mean, feels true, and it is true, and you would be good. And then you just follow it up like with, so why don't you start with how did you find us? Or you insert any other question that you would like to start with. So, or you can just ask them the basic stuff. So what chains do you support, or this or that? Never ask questions that you can Google. Try to be smart. Try to break the pattern. Don't be like another sales guy, because everybody is asking them what kind of chains they have. Prepare before the call. Like, know what the chains operate on and crush it. Okay. Now, when you ask the first question, you see how seamlessly you transitioned into the Q&A part. So they agreed with it, like you pushed them a ball, they agreed to play with this ball, and you have them for the next 10-15 minutes. A lot of people have this thing, they think, okay, so if I'm gonna ask them a ton of questions, aren't they gonna be pissed off at me? I understand the concern here, but the true thing here is that they don't, it's better to have them talking about themselves, because people love to talk about themselves, about their problems and blah, 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 instead of you pitching them 20 minutes your solution that they don't need or they don't understand that they need. Okay? This is the main reframe. Don't pitch them, better let them talk about themselves, and if you see that there is a good fit, make notes and kill them in the presentation. Next. Q&A, also slide from the previous video. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Okay, you need to understand the quantifiable pain in terms of money, time, and energy. Are they motivated to solve it right now? Do they have budget? What is their decision-making process and the timelines? Are they ready to do this right now, or in 6 months, or 1 year, or never? Okay, you need to ask the questions to understand all of this on the call. Yes, and you need to get answer for all of this on one call, not in the whole sales process. Majority of people get to understand what is their budget, do they have a timeline, and then that's it. And then 3 other points they decide to do this later on the next stages of the call, like when you have a pricing call, for example. This is not the best solution, this is not the best strategy to go for. So how do you uncover, what questions you need to ask? Questions fall into a few different categories. There are process questions, fact question, budget question, pain question, outcome question, people question. So like every type of questions, they angle to qualify them in a little bit of different way. So like you need to qualify if they have pain, if they have budget. So you need to ask them different questions. How do you start? What is the right order? This is the right order. This is the framing from Bowtie Sales Guy that I found on his Twitter. I'm gonna link down that thread down below. But to say in short, who is Bowtie Sales Guy? He is a great guy, and he knows how to sell. This is what I can tell you. A lot of stuff that I'm sharing with you is actually I learned from him, and I tried from him, and it worked for me. This is why I'm sharing it with you. I love this guy. I love his questions, so we're gonna go with it. The first thing that you're gonna ask, or you wanna ask, is facts. Facts questions are very simple, like they're like doctor-patient. When you ask them, what kind of blockchains do you have? Or like, what's your average this, what's your average that? Like, just ask them about the numbers, and it should feel very, very fast and very, very simple. So like, you need to ask them about facts. How people reply to the facts, they just say you the fact, and that's okay. After the facts, you can ask about the process. Process questions are very, very process questions, I would say that they're pretty complex. It's hard to know how to say them, but if you master asking the process questions, if you know how to ask the right process questions, this will help you to uncover a lot of pain. So the best question that I see here, can you run me through the process, how you do the stuff right now? So for me, like on a real life example, what I ask, can you run me how you get the data right now, like the blockchain data, how you get access to the blockchain data, and all different variations of this question? Because what I do, I sell APIs that give you the aggregated access to the blockchain data. So for me, it's important to understand how they do stuff right now. And this immediately uncovers a big field for me to understand whether it's efficient, the stuff that they are doing right now. Do they want to change? What kind of problems they're having? What endpoints or what data they're missing? And blah, 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 blah. So having and asking these process questions is the first step to understanding and finding the pain. Once they start telling you, oh, blah, 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 they tell you a lot of stuff. And typically they're going to mention few things that they don't really like, or few things that they don't that are kind of inefficient for them, or the reasons why they came for the call with you, or if you came on a cold call completely with the prospect that never knew about you. This is how you can unpack them, like you kind of like unpacking them like a can. So you need to understand how do they do things right now, and this immediately helps you to understand if there is a sense to continue the call. Next, the next thing is pain. You are, once they tell you in the process there is a few inefficiencies, you need to have these inefficiencies, turn them into pain. From pain, you turn them into impact. What kind of impact this pain has on their business, on themselves, and then you give them the hope, like the hope that we can probably solve this. Because really what these questions are doing, you get them from logic here, pain, logic starts becoming emotion, and at this point, at hope, it's already emotions. Like impact and hope is the peak of your call. When you're getting the prospect, you're getting them from logic, you're driving them into the emotion, so they feel the pain, they feel the problem, they feel the thing, because people make decisions in emotions and then they justify them with logic. A lot of sales gurus told you about this. This is how you actually do this. You ask them the right sequence of questions. All questions are here. I'm just gonna move this stuff. You can see all these questions in the tweet of the bow tie sales guy below, so don't be afraid. Like you will not miss this. You don't need to screen this right now. You can check it out in Twitter later on after the video ended. Next thing, after the pain, you ask about outcome. Once you give them the hope, you ask them, so what's ideal world you want to live in, my dear prospect? And they tell you everything what they want to have, what they want to do. And you just, in your mind, you check boxes like whether you fit into it or not fit. And if you fit, you just drag them in the right direction. If you don't fit, you drag them in other direction. This is how to play the game of sales. After you know the outcome, you ask them the budget questions. Budget questions, very simple. You need to basically understand if they can afford you. After you know the budget, you ask them about decision. In Web3, decision is typically in most of the cases, you're already speaking with a decision maker. Maybe at least this is for me. Like if you sell to HR or you sell to marketing, typically they need to consult this with their CEO, with their CTO, or like whoever. But if you majority of projects are pretty small, and it's one or two people involved in the decision, so you can very easily navigate it. If this is going on about complex sales where you're selling to Fortune 500 companies, where you sell to brands or anyone else, maybe you need to go multi-threading and you need to start actually understanding how they make decisions in the organizations. This is going to be a very important part for you. Primarily, you can skip this. Like I skip this part. I just need to understand who is decision maker. Like if the person that I'm speaking with can sign on the deal. And if they're not, I'm just asking them who needs to be involved in the decision, and then we move on. We create a Telegram group or we create a Slack channel together. I get all the decision maker there, and then I get the signature on the contract. Next steps. So this was very easy. This is it. This is the framework. This is the questions that you ask. Ask them in this order. The most important thing is ask good process questions to uncover the pain, quantify the pain to move them into emotions, promise them that you can solve them if you can solve it, understand their budget, understand decision-making questions, and then you move into the next steps. Because now, if everything is good and your prospect is qualified, if you have if you don't have a fit on any of these things, you need to end the call right now. And don't waste your time, because this person probably not gonna buy. They're gonna eat a lot of time from you. So it's better investment of your time for you and for your company to pay you for actually finding more good leads than focusing on this lead that is probably not so good. So the next steps, what you do in the end of the call, you need to lock in the prospect in the next steps. You need to book the next call right on the discovery call and confirm that if there are any reasons why they're not gonna make it there. Once I started doing this, my actually moving to the next step ratio just went up, because the prospect is immediately there with you. They're already in the emotion. They're living it. So why don't you close them? And your close actually is closing them on the next call. Why don't you close them right on this call? Like, it doesn't make sense. Majority of, you don't want to lose your prospect, because once they're out of the call, they're in the emails, and you want to schedule the call in the emails, the probability that you're gonna do this is actually lower. In case you did a great job on the discovery call, then they're gonna book the call from the emails later on. But why don't you why don't you secure the slot on your calendar right with your prospect on the call? This is the main thing. Just tell them where you're available, and if they start wiggling, if they don't want to book the call, if they think, oh, we're gonna think and blah 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 blah, you just go and you ask, like, so John, I understand what is the problem here? Like, we uncovered this thing costs you 50K, blah 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 blah. The next step is to actually do this and this and this. Why I don't understand what's the problem here, and they tell you the reasons, and then you can justify if the reason is good or not good. If they will need to loop in other people, like, you want to disqualify as much people and be willing and be ready to disqualify people if they are not serious about their problems. You need to be more serious about their problems. You don't care about the money that they bring. You care about solving the problem. And if they're less serious than you, then you just walk away from the deal. Walk away and let them chase you or not chase you, because you want to save time. You want to work with the people that actually gonna buy, and if they're not ready to go to the next step, to the second call with you, if they're not ready to make the decision right now after everything that you uncovered with them, then do you expect them to close? Do you expect them to pay you money? Like, if they're not ready to book the call right now, like, what is this? So we're in the end of discovery. You close the call, or like you book the next call, or you ended the call earlier, or you ended the call in this stage. So what you can do right now as a Web3 sales DGN, or anyone who is learning about Web3 sales, even if you do half of what I shared, you will improve in your results. Like, your qualification ratio will highly go up, and your manager will love you. Your manager will tell you, this is amazing, like, just do more of that stuff. I want you to comment on this video, like, will implement. This is the super important. This is your commitment that you take on yourself to implement at least something from this video, because this is right now, this is information, you have it in front of you. Now it's your responsibility to implement it, because if you don't implement it and then you suffer, your brain will tell you, so you had everything in front of you but you still didn't do this. So the guilt that you're gonna feel is gonna be more, because before, when you didn't know, you had half of the responsibility. Now you have full responsibility. Thanks, Nikolai, what you can say. So now what you need to write is just say, will implement, and this is gonna be the first step towards your better discovery. Once you have better discovery, you have better prospects, you have more money, you can let me know that, Nikolai, your discovery video was amazing. Now you can also adapt questions that I shared in the product service niche, like, so it feels natural for you. Build your own qualification playbook. Build a new set of questions. Maybe you already have a good qualification playbook. Just add new questions that you found out today. Maybe you can improve the order how you ask questions. These are all the things that are up to you that you can do. Follow Bowtie Sales Guy on Twitter. He knows the stuff. And subscribe to Web3 Sales Gym YouTube channel. Add your team, add your friends. Add everybody, because there are a lot of chances that they're selling in a clown way, and you want them, and you, like, if you are getting a lot of value here, if you are getting any value here, just get your people, get your friends, get your wife, your sister, everybody on the Web3 Sales Gym, because if you, like, right now, it's a great industry to make money, and it's a great industry to grow, especially if you're young. So why don't share this thing with more people, so they start actually not from their own mistakes, but they learn from people that already made mistakes, and they just learn it in the right way. They do this in the right way. And they have the shorter ramp time into the industry. This is a no-brainer for you. This is a no-brainer for me, because I want the channel to grow. I want to reach a lot of people in Web3, and I want this message to be shared with a lot of people, because I think that my content and my work and the stuff that I'm doing, like, every day can help a lot of you guys. So if you want to help me, you can smash a like on this video, you want to subscribe, you can add more people in the channel, you can join our Telegram channel, Telegram group. There's gonna be a link in the description. And I'm gonna see you in the next video, because next video we're actually gonna dig down in the pain. How do you understand the pain of your prospect? And it was very nice to have you with me in this 20 minutes. Wishing you a very nice day. Crush it on your next discovery, and let's get it, because this is Web3 Sales Gym. Bye bye.